It should be noted that I am sleep deprived and jet lagged. But when I heard Joe DeRosa was coming on, I said, "Joe DeRosa, that guy makes furniture?" And Chris said, "No," and I said, "I think Joe DeRosa he's a comedian, but he makes furniture." And he said, "Nope. He makes sandwiches." Like, Jesus, you know? And I said, I can't think straight. I don't know what day it is, but I think Joe DeRosa, I'm almost positive makes furniture too. He's a comedian who makes furniture. And he's like, I'm punching in the computer. He doesn't make furniture. And I'm like, there's a guy whose name, it's the same name. He's a comedian, makes furniture. And I was like going out of my mind, and I forgot about it. And then I ran into Chris, and he's like, John DeRosa. Joe DeRosa makes sandwiches. John DeRosa makes furniture.
Both good guys to be friends
comedians, and both work with their hands.
John DeRosa, is he an older guy?
Yes.
He had a sitcom, I think.
I think.
Yeah.
Or John DeRosa or DeRosa,
yeah.
But I could not. The Joe DeRosa, John DeRosa thing just got me onto. I like woodworking.
But when I first moved into New York, people would go, "Oh yeah, you had that sitcom." And I was like, "What?"
Good, I'm not the only person.
And then I look it up, and it was like I look up this guy, and he was like 50, and he had a sitcom when he was like 30, and I was like, "You thought I had a sitcom 20 years ago? I was 12."
Well, that's what solved. What solved it is I said, "Wait a minute, how old is Joe?" And he said 44. And I said, no, it can't be the same guy. But there is somebody out there who almost shares the same name, who's a comedian who builds furniture with his son.
There's a comedian named Joe DeVito, also in New York. This is a true story. When I was first starting out, I drove from New York down to South Jersey to headline a show. And I got to the club, and I go, "Hey, I'm Joe DeRosa." And they go, "Yeah, can we help you?" And I go, "What do you mean? I'm headlining the show tonight." And they go, "Oh shit, we thought we booked Joe DeVito."
We thought we booked the funny Joe. We just got the one that's willing to travel.
Well, you're here.
Well, thanks for the sandwich, but that's not going to get you on stage. But
exactly. I should start making furniture. That's a smart thing to do.
Was John in a sitcom?
It was called DeRosa.
That's right. Yeah, a short-lived UPN sitcom from 98 to 99 called DeRosa.
Wow, there it is.
It got even crazier because not only was he, like, at the time, like 25 years older than me, or he still would be. That doesn't change. But the sitcom was about him being like a cop. And I was like, I was 22. I'm like, you thought I had a sitcom where I played like an old cop.
Listen, I was crossing the street. I was crossing PCH 2 months ago, and 6 months after Norm Macdonald died, I still got the, "Hey, Norm." It's like people don't focus.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
Time stands still.
Yes. All right. Sorry, Gina.
Well, let's talk about comedy, or at least the comedy that almost wasn't. A sold-out Dave Chappelle show was canceled on Wednesday at the last minute after a firestorm began to brew online about his past jokes about the trans community. The Minnesota venue called First Avenue pulled the plug on the event just hours before it was supposed to begin, moved Chappelle to a nearby theater. This is the whole Instagram post. I'm going to read it to you. The Dave Chappelle show tonight at First Avenue has been canceled and is moving to Varsity Theater. To staff, artists, and our community, we hear you and we are sorry.
First off, fuck everyone in every community. I'm so tired of you and your community and how you feel about your fucking community. No one gives a shit.
We are sorry. We know we must hold ourselves to the highest standards, and we know we let you down. We are not just a black box with people in it, and we understand that First Avenue is not just a room, but meaningful beyond our walls. The First Avenue team and you have worked hard to make our venues the safest spaces in the country, and we will continue with that mission.
In terms of fire codes?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think just emotionally.
Mechanical buildings? Like, it's a fucking comedian telling jokes. It doesn't need to be safe, you fucking tards.
Also, too, like, why would you ever want a venue for the arts to be safe?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, So think about how much that excludes. So these paintings, these classic paintings that are worth millions of dollars, could never be hung in here because they show certain nudity that could be offensive to people.
Yeah.
Or that's such a wide net.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
It's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
And it's also 18 people who are unemployable, who are fucking bitter about their stepdad molesting them, on struggling with their sexuality, on fucking line, speaking for the community. Like, fuck you. Well, by the way, don't go. Look, if he does that, or Ben Shapiro's going to Stanford, don't fucking go to his lecture then, you assholes, and stop caving, everybody. That's what perpetuates it.
Speaking of which, they apologized to the staff, which indicates, maybe someone on the staff voiced up or whatever. How many other staff members are pissed they're not getting paid that day?
That would have been a big night, yeah. Well, let me just read you one more sentence from this. We believe in diverse voices.
Oh, hold on.
I knew you'd like
every
this.
one of these motherfucking look. When the Washington
Generals?
the Redskin, they're the fucking Washington
Cleveland Guardians?
Commanders, eventually.
Commanders. They're the commanders. The Washington
the new
Commanders. Yeah. When they find Jack Del Rio for whatever he said about the insurrection, they fined him $100,000 and then went, we believe we've created an environment where people are free. You can't fucking fine people or shut down people's shows and then come in with your chicken shit. Here's who we are. Here's who we are. You have to act like who you are, bitches, not do something really shitty and Orwellian and shut everyone down, and then go ahead and give us your here's what we believe. But read it anyway, Gina, because it's sickening.
We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression.
Oh, you
do.
Obviously.
But in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. We know there are some who will not agree with this decision. You are welcome to send feedback as well.
They lost track of what? It's either free speech or not. That's it.
It's just so nuts, man. It's just so but you're absolutely right. This idea of diversity only means a certain number of voices.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's really, really crazy. And that really resonated what you said about the people, because I got a thing happened here in LA once where this kid, the Proud Boys were hanging out at a bar, and then this kid brought a bunch of people over to the bar to confront them. And the kids that went in, who supposedly were on the right side of history, were the ones that caused the stir-up. And it's like, and created all the commotion. And then they got the bar shut down for like a week. And it's like, dude, do you know how many like single moms and like people that need this goddamn job so you could go down there and get your little 15 minutes on the news that you made a guy in a MAGA hat, you shut the bar down. It's like, it really bothers me, man. That really
And if the bar
irks
didn't
me.
want them there, the bar would have handled it.
You know what?
Well, this is funny because they kept saying, there was video of it, and they're like, what do you plan to do? They're screaming, and the bar manager is going, what do you want me to do? They weren't doing anything. Yeah. And it's like, I'm sorry, I missed on the training video where it says, when the Proud Boys come into your bar, here's how you handle it. It's like, there is no, what is everybody talking about?
I got a new term for that. Toxic righteousness.
Yes.
You're right to not like the Proud Boys, but to get the whole place shut down and paychecks gone for a week or whatever, that's taken a bit too far.
But that being said, I played the Varsity Theater a few times. I was like, oh, well, we're sharing the same venue.
Yeah.
Nice. Don't feather your cap.
You probably went to the Varsity Theater.
Where? What town?
Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yes, I remember going there. Yes, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Yeah. It's sloppy seconds to Chappelle, but for us, it's the pinnacle of a career.
Yeah.
How great is it for the Varsity Theater too?
Oh.
They're like, wait, you guys don't want the
Yeah. What if they
had
had to shuffle the deck? Like, hey, Sha-na-na, bad news. Sorry, we didn't really move any tickets anyway, but we'll get you. Don't worry, we'll give you your rider.
Exactly.
Bowser, you get the rider. It's fine.
Hey guys, tell Bowser we said go fuck yourself. Don't come back. We got something else happening.
Well, we have some good news in Los Angeles for once. We talk a lot on this show about fentanyl and how it's literally killing everybody. The LA DEA has seized approximately 1 million fake pills containing fentanyl over in Inglewood. This record-breaking bust is the largest seizure of fentanyl pills the DEA has ever made in California. The bust is believed to be linked to the Sinaloa cartel. I know you're shocked. The seized fake pills were intended for retail distribution and have an estimated value of about $20 million.
Yeah, big box stores.
Criminal drug networks in Mexico are mass producing illicit fentanyl and fake pills pressed with fentanyl and are designed to look exactly like prescription pills, down to the shape, size, color, stamping. You cannot tell the difference.
Jesus.
It's all coming over the border, and we're fucking obsessed with those guys hit those mounted border police hit those Haitians with the whip. It was awful. Like they're fucking laughing their ass off. We're doing nothing at the border. We're fucking trying to create something that didn't fucking even happen. Remember that? Oh,
Yeah.
they did. They were all cleared.
It wasn't a whip either.
No,
right?
everyone was cleared, although we're not getting the big report on that. There was a lot of reporting on them beating Haitians at the thing. The fucking cartels are just laughing their ass off because the fucking border's a sieve.
Tunneling all the way.
We're not going to talk about it because we don't want to talk about all the ODs and all the fucking fentanyl, and it's all a porous border, and instead we're pissed off
I think
at
they said
horseback guy. When they suspended the horseback thing, they did a whole investigation.
the horses were fired.
Yeah. The most insidious thing they did was they did a whole investigation on those guys. They found nothing. And because the fucking government doesn't want to walk it back because they were all on the news going, this is the worst, this is horrible, they're going, well, we're still looking into some administrative stuff. And you're still going to punish the poor guys for their time card was bent or something.
What? I have a question for you, if I may.
By the way, Ed Calderon, who's the expert on all this shit, is coming in on Monday, so people know. But go ahead.
What continue? I feel like you've been asked this probably a bunch. What makes you still live out here? Because this is the reason I left.
That every 20 minutes.
I was like, it was the it's the polar. It's so liberal. It's conservative. It drove me crazy.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't.
It's interesting. It's so liberal. They've shut the beaches down and they'll arrest you if you go on the beach during COVID. It's that liberal.
Yeah.
It's so liberal they don't like school choice. It's so liberal you have to wear a mask outdoors. Like we're so liberal, we're oppressive.
It's bad when San Francisco is looking edgy compared to LA. Like, so how do you not lose your mind? You know what I mean?
I have lost my mind. I do lose my mind. I continue to lose my mind. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. My kids will graduate high school in 2 years, and I will pull up to attend their graduation in a U-Haul. That's how we're going to do it.
Brian, we got to start making other plans.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I'm not even going to leave it. I'm just going to get binoculars. I'm going to sit shotgun, give a toot when the girl gets her sheepskin there, and then that's it. Then it's off.
And you just You
know the scariest thing about being from LA is when you say to people like, "Don't you want to get out of LA?" Like, there's a difference between going somewhere because it's attractive and getting out. Mm-hmm. Like when people go, where do you want to go? It's like, Nashville, I don't know.
Throw a dart at
Texas, Florida. Like it doesn't really matter. I'm leaving. LA and California used to be, we're attracting. People are coming to California. They're coming to now they're just leaving, and it's not because they fell in love with Montana. It's just because California fucked things up so badly. They're just leaving.
Yeah, it was when I left, and I'm single. I don't have kids or anything. So like it was easier, obviously, for me to just leave. But when I left, it was tough because I was saying to people. I remember I was in a really dry patch in my career, and I did not have a lot of accessible income, and I was like. And I kept saying, I feel like it's Iraq. I have no exit strategy. I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. Like I came for all these things, and all those things are over now. And now I got to leave. And like you said, when you don't have, you're not being pulled somewhere. There's no, you're just like, I got to just get out of here.
Which is, it's like, it's sort of the difference between falling in love with a coworker while in a relationship, or just being in an abusive relationship where you're like, I just got to get the fuck out of the apartment and find somewhere to flop. That's what California is turning into.
Right. Or falling, the difference between falling in love with a coworker or I'm going to try to fuck a coworker.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're like, no. That's going to be tough.
All right, let me hit a quick spot before Gina's next story, which is BlindsGalore.com. Family owned and run for over 20 years. Over 2 million windows and counting. The first place to buy custom window treatments online. Blind shades, shutters, drapes, even motorized coverings that connect to your smartphone. They'll have a remote, too, and you just charge them up. You don't have to run wire to them. Battery lasts for a while on an overnight charge. Just take the measurements and design it online, and they have a visualizer so you can see what it looks like before you squeeze the trigger. Right on the screen before you squeeze the trigger on the buy. Their expert customer care team will help you through every step of the way, either online or over the phone. I have them in my studio. I have them in my edit bays. I have them in my home. Free samples, free shipping, free expertise. Doesn't get any better than that. It's Blinds Galore, right, Dawson?
BlindsGalore.com makes it easy to get the high-quality designer blinds and shades you've always wanted in your home, all at a great price. Order your free samples today to get started at BlindsGalore.com and let them know that Adam sent you. That's BlindsGalore.com.
We got a couple more?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, great. Well, let's do another follow-up on a story that I believe you broke right here on the show, Adam. Remember the story of the trans inmate who impregnated 2 female inmates consensually? By the way, I think that's important. There's an update on this person. They've transferred them to a men's prison after being placed on suicide watch. 27-year-old Demi Minor has now been transferred to a vulnerable inmates unit at Garden State Youth Correctional Facility, which houses young adults. Minor is serving a 30-year sentence for manslaughter. The state has agreed to house most trans prisoners according to their gender identity and to provide gender-affirming care under a settlement
What state
agreement.
is this in? Like New Jersey or something?
Let me double check.
Chris will look. That's fine.
New Jersey.
This woman had said that she was harassed and assaulted by both staff and fellow
This
inmates.
woman who entered prison as a dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
She transitioned in prison?
Not even really a transition.
Just
Declaration.
declared.
Like just started identifying.
Yeah.
And impregnating inmates.
So at the time I just want to make sure I get this straight because I heard this story, but I didn't know all the. He went in as a he, said I'm a woman now. Then they put her into a women's prison.
They put him or her, into the women's prison.
Into a men's prison, but he was being like harassed and stuff, right?
I don't know, but he ended up in a women's
That's what I
prison
mean,
and then he impregnated 2 of them. Now, look, here's the way I roll. Those 2 kids, the 2 offspring, they've got to be guards for at least the first 5 years of their life. They know the system better than anybody.
Inherent.
Number 1. Number 2, I want some of my fucking taxpayer money back. They work for free as guards for 5 years. That's my policy. I could run on that platform.
Yeah. Strict but fair.
Yeah.
Can't argue it. It's logical.
All right. Here's the problem with super progressive notions. They never work because they can't work because this kind of shit is like, well, if you identify as a woman, then you should be able to swim with the other women and beat the fuck out of them in the freestyle. Like, this is where it goes.
It breaks down.
We're going to defund the police. We're going to community-based police. Everyone's fucking run around shooting each other now.
Right.
I love that. The notion is awesome.
Right.
The execution is impossible because you're dealing with humans. They exploit everything, and that's how it works.
Well, we have it on record as the LAPD saying, don't wear flashy shit because you are going to get rolled in broad daylight. Like,
Right.
that's the new decree.
It's Jersey Copland.
Yes. Stallone?
Yeah.
Please.
I just wanted to see a chubby Stallone. I was like, I've seen so many roided out Stallone movies. I just want to see a fucking dad bod on Stallone
He's in this
once.
new thing. He's like gorgeous still. He's like, it's 76. He's an Adonis still.
I know.
Anyway, there's that scene where Keitel yells at him. And he goes, you came in here, Freddie, with a plan, but it was the plan of a boy.
Right.
Boys don't think things through. You know? And it's like, I always think of that with stuff like this. Because I'm like, guys, the notion is, as you said, the notion is great. you have to have a plan. There has to be a way to execute.
Toxic
No, here's the thing.
righteousness.
We're going to shut down nuclear power plants. We're going to stop fracking. We're going to shut every pipeline. We're going to put these oil companies out of business.
How do we get around?
And you have some fusion generator that we've not heard of, or nope.
Yeah.
By the way, shutting shit down, defunding shit, putting dudes in with chicks, that's a proclamation. It's not a plan. The plan is then now what, and now what is we'll buy our oil from the worst players on the planet.
Well, and it's like you said, people take advantage. So what happens with every cause is every single person goes, no, the most extreme rule in this new game we're playing now has to apply to me too, even though I'm not over there. No pun intended. Me too is a great example. When people start saying, if a guy kissed you and you didn't want it, it's the same thing.
Right.
And you're like, it's not the same thing. And if you don't start to create some rules and boundaries here, it's going to be a shit show, which it did become. And then that's why Time's Up, we found out they were all vacationing and wherever the fuck they were going with all the money. But it's the same thing with this. It's like, guys, if you can't have the discussion of there are levels to transitioning, and it is something that can be taken advantage of. For instance, a guy just going, I'm a woman now, put me in the women's prison so I can now have sex with women. What are we talking about here? It's so nuts.
And also, they're in there for something, in this case, manslaughter. So they're not virtuous folks. Like he says on his honor and his mother, Latifah's honor, that he would never, and like if you insult him, then his seconds are going to contact your seconds and he'll see you at the handball court at sunrise. Now, we've established that these people will work outside of the perimeters of society.
I love that anybody walking down the street screaming out loud at God is going to like glove slap you if you insult them. It's like
the honor system.
All right, one more, Gina.
All right, well, let's finish on an absolutely vile note. Velveeta has teamed up with the BLT restaurant group for a drink. Go ahead and put it up. It's called the Velveeta Veltini. It is a martini made with Velveeta infused vodka and garnished with either Velveeta stuffed olives or Velveeta shells and cheese. The Veltini will run $15. Think of this for your bar. And is available at 5 BLT restaurants. Thank God I don't think we have those here. Like BLT Steak.
Never
BLT,
heard of one of those.
Washington, Charlotte, New York, Chicago. If you don't live near one of these locations, you can either have it shipped to you for $49.95, or you could make it yourself.
This was created by the lovers of the Appletini to get the pressure taken off them. Like, come on, fucking chicken shit is this? How old are you? That guy's drinking a Veltini down at the end. Why don't you fucking go talk to him, dude? And then they can enjoy their Appletini in peace.
That's probably
It's a ruse.
This will be the first infused vodka ever where the flavor is plenty. Every time you have infused vodka, you're like, it doesn't taste anything like cherries.
Right.
Joe probably knows, Adam, I don't know if you know this, the big Nutini, the one taking over the world, the espresso martini.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Big time.
Keep you alert.
It's so many calories, and it's
a milkshake.
It's also
so good.
It is really good.
It is good. Look. There's nothing better than a malted or many offerings at the ice cream place. But we're at a steakhouse and we're here to eat some meat and do some drinking. Like, go with a nice gin martini.
And and this includes White Russians, I don't abide by dairy mixed with alcohol. Like, you want to make that milkshake an adult milkshake? No, I do not.
Are we? Can we agree? As long as we've decided to craft a booze themed show, the martini. Mm-hmm. Should there be a standard glass and a standard practice, which is, if you go to certain steakhouses, this is my favorite, they shake it up, they pour it, and they leave the little shaker next to you, and that's whatever's left. It drives me nuts when there's an inch at the bottom. It's like, there we go, and the guy throws it in the thing.
You alluded to my celebrity encounter, which we'll get to in maybe a show or two. I went to a restaurant that did that. That was the restaurant I was at. They give you a little extra.
Right.
Nice.
Some will leave the thing.
Yep.
In New York, I got one. The guy poured it into a separate little beaker and put it there. I was like, all right, I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Then there was the one, but there's also the glass. Like sometimes you go and you order a martini, which, is $20, $25. That kind of depends where you are. They can get even more. They give you that little itty bitty thing, and you're like, I was kind of picturing the bigger one. And they're like, no, we use the itty bitty one. I'm like, I want to factor that in.
I appreciate you pouring 5 ounces as opposed to 6.
Right. I kind of want a standard glass and a standard. We'll put it or we'll do it or it'll come up to here. Sometimes you order one, it's in the little glass, it's a quarter-inch from the top, and you're like, there's not much in there at all.
Well, and just logistically, as shaky as I got some Butterfingers, I'm terrified of holding martini glasses because that is just a spill waiting to happen.
Well, the worst is when everyone wants to toast, and you're like, hold
no,
on, get away from the booze.
Let me get it off first.
I'm going to put my hands behind my back, I'm going to stand up on this seat and I'm going to slurp it without making contact with it. Then we're not going to sling it like pow in the middle of the table. That's $18 of booze you just dropped.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I have a question though about this. I think it looks disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But I went to Taylor's the other night with my buddy. And he got a martini, and every time he gets a martini, he gets the blue cheese olives, which I think it's disgusting. It makes me gag. So
I'm glad you said that.
Does this sort of make sense?
Like
because people do have cheese in a martini. It's the worst
synthesized.
cheese.
It's the worst. Maybe the blue cheese martini olive is like a stepping stone type drug to get to the Velveeta. Yes.
It's vile.
Yeah. Oh, this place was 3 doors down from your hotel, Chris?
Yeah. And I'm really bummed. I totally would have went and tried it.
The BLT Steakhouse?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never heard of one until me staying there. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's where my Uber would pick me up. Because that was like the landmark over there. But yeah, I did get martinis in when I would get like at the sushi counter, and the sushi chef just wanted to cheers me every single time, Adam. You're totally right.
And I do the up with the nod. Yes. And I was like, no, bring it in.
It's bad luck.
We can't just give the look in the hand. We have to physically make contact with this glass.
Yeah. It's the worst. Have you had the mac and cheese ice cream?
No.
What?
I was on the podcast We Might Be Drunk with Mark Norman and Sam Morrell. It's a great show. And they were like, we're trying this today. And they brought it in, and we tried it, and I gagged. I spit it into the trash can. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted.
What was it, like a sweet ice cream with noodles in it?
No, it's just flavored like mac and cheese. There's no noodles or cheese in it, but it's the color of
sherbet.
It looks like mac and cheese color when you look at it. And it tastes like if you mixed the powder of mac and cheese with vanilla ice cream. It's literally what it tastes like.
I'm like, see, my thing is there's fucking ice cream. There's 40 flavors. Just pick one. And then there's mac and cheese if you want it. I don't like all the infusion. I don't like all the crossover. It's like me saying, I got this new car. It's a good car. It's part donkey. It's got some donkey. It's got hints of like donkey and mule in it, but it's mainly a car. It's fucking get a good car. There's cars. You get one.
Yeah.
There's food. There's martinis. There's ice cream. Stop experimenting.
There's a very upscale ice cream chain in Los Angeles that does great regular ice cream, but then gets a little crazy with like the mint and the rose water, and you're like, and then they have a goat cheese and olive.
Yeah.
Can you imagine not knowing what you were biting into and taking a big spoonful of that?
Disgusting.
Fucking horrific.
All
disgusting.
Right. Chris had Grey Poupon ice cream the other day.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Why?
Well, just to try, because my friend had it in his
I've
freezer.
seen the commercial. Excuse me, are you retarded?
I was, because I definitely took a bite. And it had like salted pretzels in there as well to kind of cut it, but it was too weird. There's no way you could finish a whole bowl of it. You could have a bite and go, okay, I get it. It's not terrible, but you wouldn't want a bowl of it.
It's a weird logic chain where they're like, well, pretzels go with ice cream, and pretzels go with mustard, so mustard must go with ice cream.
A plus C equals Q.
Yeah.
There's a great Steely Dan would say pretzel logic. Let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I'm going to try to fuck a coworker.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, last but not least, there's X Chair. Many of us spend more time in our office chair than in our cars or bed, so get a good office chair. So important to invest in the right chair with the right level of support and comfort so you can be the most productive. X Chair is my favorite place to sit for any reason. I'm sitting on one right now. Had an X Chair years ago in my office, long before they even came on as a sponsor. X Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar, or DVL, offers the ultimate customized support. X Chair can even give a massage or heat you up or cool you down. And now, thanks to X Chair's new FS360 armrest, I can even adjust the armrest to the perfect position. Treat yourself. You deserve it. X-Chair, right, Dawson?
Go to xchairadam.com now. That's the letter X, chair80am.com, or call 844-4XChair for $100 off your order. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. xchairadam.com.
I should say that Joe is going to be at the Atlantic City Comedy Club. That's August 12th and 13th. And off to San Diego, the American Comedy Co. And that is September 1st through the 3rd. The Sandwich Shop, of course. Joey Rose's. Man, that stuff looked good.
Thank you.
Podcast Taste Buds is well available wherever you listen to finer podcasts. And shoot him a tweet at Joe DeRosa Comedy. Thanks, Joe.
Guys, thank you so much. It's so much fun. Appreciate
Huge
it.
fan ever since that 90s sitcom you were in, and we finally got you into the studio, so it's all my honor, brother.
Thank you.
So until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Gina Grad and Bald Bryan and Joe DeRosa saying mahalo. It's not enough that you look like somebody. You need to look like the Down syndrome version
You know what's,
of that.
you know what's tough? I just look like Down syndrome. Just Down syndrome. Which is a real bummer.
And then Haley Joel Osment looks like you with Down syndrome. So
I look like your handler. I'm like, he's very functional.